Over the last 7 to 8 months, the main thing that I have been consuming has been A Song of Ice and Fire, the book series that accompanied the hit TV show Game of Thrones. And one of the main things that longtime readers had always told me was that once you get to book 3 and 4, you're going to start to notice a lot of changes that weren't in the TV show. And to be honest, while this isn't seen at first, it definitely catches up as time goes on. While you're reading book 1, it's basically a one-to-one adaptation. It's really simple to adapt, the plot points are about the same. Once you get to book 2, it changes a little bit. There's more characterization for Stannis and Davos, but for the most part, through books 1 and 2, they're relatively the same, with a few minute changes here and there. But when you get to book 3, A Storm of Swords, which is my personal favorite book of all time and probably the best thing I've ever seen or read, you really start to notice just how different the book series is from the TV show. Basically, the entire cast has a lot more meat to their stories, with some specific major ones being Robb's marriage is completely different, his wife isn't even at the Red Wedding, Tyrion has a whole nother separate arc, and the real reason he kills Tywin isn't even explained in the TV show. I mean, that's a whole nother video for a separate day, though. What I want to talk about today is something that happens to a character at the end of A Storm of Swords that is just one of the strangest changes that I've ever seen, to be quite honest. During the epilogue of A Storm of Swords, which for those of you that don't know is basically the final chapter from a POV character that we don't normally get throughout the series and usually only get 1 or 2, we meet someone. And that someone, if you've read the books, you know who I'm about to say, is Lady Stoneheart, who is the resurrected corpse of Catelyn Stark. Towards the end of A Storm of Swords, Arya actually has a dream. And in this dream, because like all the other Stark children, she's a warg, she wargs into Nymeria, not knowing, and while sniffing around in Nymeria's body, she smells a familiar scent. She goes to the river, the scent gets stronger, and long story short, she finds the corpse of Catelyn Stark. Once the corpse is dragged to shore, it is then found by Beric Dondarrion and the Brotherhood Without Banners. And for show watchers, this would be the guy that has the flaming sword. And although it's not shown to us on screen, there's overwhelming evidence that they use the Lord of the Light, the same person who brings back Beric Dondarrion, to revive Catelyn Stark. But there is something very different about Lady Stoneheart from Catelyn Stark, and this is made apparent from the opening segments of this epilogue. The most obvious difference is that she can no longer speak. The knife that cut her throat was so deep that it severed her vocal cords, and she is now mute. And this is just very symbolic that we have lost the character that we once knew, because for those of you that haven't read the books, Catelyn is a very linguistic person. So off the rip, just losing the ability to speak creates a level of distance from you and this character that you once knew, and it gives you this really somber, terrible feeling. But beyond that, her appearance has entirely changed. Instead of having this beautiful, vibrant skin, it's pale and murky because, well, it's just been dragged out of water. Her beautiful long hair that Ned loves so much is an absolute mess. Half of it has basically been torn from its scalp, and the other half is the wrong color, it's thinning, it's overall not a good look. Also, very unfortunate, at the end of the Red Wedding, there is this line, her final line, where she talks about these bloody tears. Turns out that was her scraping her eyes from what she was seeing. So when Lady Stoneheart is resurrected, she has these grotesque gashes underneath her eyes going all the way down her cheeks, and that is self-harm that she did to herself without even knowing. But more importantly, aside from the physical changes, emotionally and mentally, this is not the same person. This is not the calculated Catelyn who's always trying to do the best for her daughters. This is a vengeful and quite evil character that wants nothing more than to execute and kill anyone who was related to the Red Wedding at all. And she doesn't give these people clean deaths. She hangs them and lets the crows feast on their corpses. It's very grotesque and very violent. One of George's reoccurring motifs is the idea of eyes and what they mean for the characters, what they mean for the people, and what they mean in the Song of Ice and Fire universe. And the way our epilogue character describes Lady Stoneheart's eyes is very specific. It's this kind of eyes that we have never seen in this world so far. Lady Stoneheart's eyes see nothing but hatred. It is like they are burning through everyone and anyone who is in her path. The warm and loving mother that once was Catelyn Stark is gone. Both the physical and emotional resemblance to what once was Catelyn Stark is so far away from us at this point, and it's just so heartbreaking. And the only thing really tying her back to who she once was is the fact that she still have Robb's crown. Now currently I am only 3/4 of the way through A Feast for Crows, so I have not read every book, and sadly A Song of Ice and Fire will probably never get finished. But what is really confusing to me is why they would remove something that just seems so key for the long-term endgame of this story. Right now, Jon Snow is still dead at the Wall. Someone needs to resurrect him, and I'm 90% sure it was Robb Stark's dying wish for Jon to inherit Winterfell. So just imagine the beautifully tragic twist of Lady Stoneheart actually being the one to resurrect Jon Snow, and them having to kind of maybe settle their differences out in their revived corpse-like bodies. I feel there could also be a great plot point where Arya actually meets Lady Stoneheart. You see, Arya is on the same path of destruction that what once was her mother is now on, and maybe getting to see what this path will ultimately lead to if you see it through all the way might turn her back in some way. Lady Stoneheart could be the true wake-up call that she so desperately needs. There's also the question of what's going to happen with Brienne and Jaime. I could see a really beautiful arc where Brienne actually betrays her vows, becomes a sort of queenslayer, unalives Catelyn Stark to protect Jaime because she knows the side of Jaime that Catelyn Stark doesn't know. But what I love most of all about this character is just the feeling that Lady Stoneheart leaves you with at the end of A Storm of Swords. A Storm of Swords is an adrenaline junkie's dream. It is just payoff after payoff after payoff, hype moment after hype moment after hype moment. But when you actually meet Lady Stoneheart, the rug is pulled out from under you, and you're reminded that this book was terrible. This was a bloody, messy abomination of a story. All the adrenaline, all the hype is just sucked right out of you, and you end this book that is mainly about war with a very realistic feeling of just absolute dread. And this is why I'm genuinely so confused as to why they removed this. There was just so much good story that could have been adapted to the TV show. I mean, they had the budget, they could have had the time, but yet again, D&D just failed us. I mean, sure, going in I knew there was going to be a lot of things that weren't in the TV show, but this one specifically really broke my heart by just how brutal of a reveal it really is. Hi guys. It's been a while. I haven't posted on this channel because, frankly, I've been really busy applying to law school, going through college, and honestly posting on TikTok. But since that app looks like it's getting deleted and my account was hacked, I'm going back to YouTube. I'm going to be full sending this. I'm going to be putting all of my effort into YouTube. I'm going to be coming back to bring you guys that high quality content that you subscribed to me in the first place for. But my biggest question is, moving forward, what do you want to see out of me? I can basically review any TV show, any book series you guys want. If you want the A Song of Ice and Fire content to keep going, just let me know. Let me with a comment. You can subscribe, whatever you guys want to do. The biggest thing is I want to give back to the community that has given me more than you guys could know. So thank you all for tuning in again. I missed you all. I'm back, and let me know what you want to see in the future. Peace.